Happy holidays, everybody. Thanks for being here.
Happy holidays.
I see a lot of familiar faces. So this is being recorded, as all the holiday calls are that MAPS has put on over the last 2 weeks. So take advantage of those calls if if you haven't had a chance to tap into some of those and leverage those calls as well. What we're going to be talking about today, as you know, is 5 recruiting strategies. We're actually going to be giving you 6. We added a bonus one to create momentum here in the new year. Most of you know Jessica and myself. We've been MAPS coaches. I've been a MAPS coach for 15 years. We have recruited together
Can you hear
over
me?
6,000 agents. Over 6,000 agents in our careers. So recruiting's kind of our thing. So we're excited to be talking to you today about recruiting and sharing some thoughts and some strategies and some tips. We also put on the recruiting skills boot camp.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yep, we can hear you. So we've also put on the recruiting skills boot camp that a lot of you had participated in. We had over 100 people in the last 2 quarters participate in that program. We're launching that again in March, and we also have a 2-day live event that is in about 3 weeks in Austin that we're excited about. So with that, let's get started.
Yes, and most of us have learned recruiting from being recruited or watching others recruit. I was fortunate enough to have Rich as one of my great MAPS coaches getting started, and I learned the models of recruiting, which we're going to tap into just a little today. And yet, let's start with the opportunity you guys have. Right now, you have the best opportunity for recruiting and even doubling the number of cappers you have in your office in the next year than you've had in 10 years, even more so. And that's because there's turbulence in the market. When the market's easy, agents get kind of fat and sassy. They don't move, they're happy, they're making money, nothing's wrong. And yet, as soon as the market gets a little difficult or starts shifting, that's when we see a lot of movement. So in the next year or 2, you have more opportunity than you have in the last 10. So agents are looking for a safe place to land, a safe harbor. So for small brokerages or discount brokerages or brokerages that aren't well established, it's kind of a scary place to be. So they're looking for a safe harbor. And 80% of the MLS is in one of those small independent or non-franchised brokerages where they don't have shift classes. They don't have command. They don't have ignite classes. They learn from each other in more of a real play, role play kind of world. They follow each other around and learn that way. So they're looking for direction. So, you want to encourage all of your agents to invite their friends and bring them along to these trainings so they can see us in action, because we are quite unique. And just remember that the last time we had this type of a market correction, we had nearly 50% of the agents leave the industry, which we'll see again. So again, movement creates movement, and uncomfortable brokerages move along. They close doors and merge with offices like KW. So lots of opportunity. And yet, if we look back from 2009 till today, 90% of the agents that are with KW have joined since then. So again, lots of opportunity, right, Rich?
Yeah. So, a couple of other things to put it in perspective. I've been through a couple shifts, and this is recruiting season, as we say, and this is experienced agent recruiting season. You're going to see the prediction is, you're going to see massive movement, literally starting next week. Probably over the next 6 months is when you're going to see the majority of it, because agents are going to be panicked. They're going to be coming off the holidays, right? Without a pipeline, with no momentum going into the new year. The 4th quarter was challenging for our industry, as most of us know. And with the holidays of people checking out, we know what happens to their pipeline or lack thereof. And so they're going to be, looking to do something different. Agents don't want to look in the mirror. They want to blame somebody else and think that the grass is greener. That creates opportunity for us as recruiters. Also, we need to, pay attention from a retention standpoint right now. So this is our time. As Jessica said, we had during the last downturn, we had our company doubled in size in production. How is that possible when almost half the agents washed out of real estate? It's because agents that are gonna survive and thrive and really make a go of this real estate business in this market are going to be looking for value-based companies. A lot of them will think that they're going to go cheap is what I need to do, but that's really just one step until they get out of the business.
That's the beginning of the end for them, isn't it? Really?
Yeah. The majority of people are gonna recognize that they now need tools, support, expertise, skills, all those types of things to help them in their business to get through the challenging times. The market we came out of, they could work anywhere, business was falling out of the sky. This is very cyclical, so this is why it's our time. The traditional companies that have great resources and tools to help agents are the ones that survive and thrive shifts, if you look at past history. And so now agents are more receptive to what does the broker have for me? What are you going to do to help me? I'm desperate. I don't have a pipeline. I don't have momentum. I need help. So their attitude has changed over the last 6 to 8 months, which is great, right? Their ego's finally been checked at the door, if you will. And we want to put ourselves in a position to capitalize on that. So what are the key things to be focusing right now on is your pipeline. Revive that pipeline, right? Everybody that you met with this year needs to get a call from you, needs to be connected, with you. You need to be talking to them. How's your finish? How's your momentum, going into the new year, right? And we need to give them some hope. Are you interested in strategies to kickstart your production? Let's use some of our MOFers. Like, have you heard about 72 Sold, the national listing program that is going to be launching here in January with millions of dollars of radio and TV advertising, right, to generate seller leads? Do you need more listings in 2023, right? We need to be giving people hope of things that we have, right? We got tools, models, systems, strategies. We have MOFers, like the 201, program that we're talking about now at KW. We got Team Ridge, right? We got a lot of these things that we want to give people hope that we have solutions to help them kickstart their production. So follow up with your pipeline, right? Consider hosting an event, right? You should host an event in the first couple weeks of the new year, right? Even if you haven't put one together, right? Put it together a panel. Pull like 3 of your top agents, put them on a panel and say, we're going to talk about, top producer tips to explode in the new year. There you go. There's your event, and invite everybody, including your own agents, and you'll get a lot of people that'll show up, in January. Why? Because they're dusting off the rust. They got the holiday hangover in terms of a lack of momentum in their business, and they're looking to kickstart it. And so they'll come to a launch event, if you will, to kickstart their production if you put it together. And you want to be the person that does that versus your competition. So look at what kind of event you can put together in January, and let's go after that pipeline. Let's create urgency with MOFers and the things that we have that KW has been talking about so that we can create that excitement. That's the key, right, Jessica?
Really is. And with that events draw in so many people because it's a safe way to check out KW without too much commitment. And that is why our national events are a no-brainer. So what is your strategy to take your new energized ALC for 2023 and triple the capper opportunities that you have for conversations by having guests to the family reunion? You also have the digital option. So you have to think about, like, how are you planning and strategizing with that today so that you have the guests that you want to show up with you in California in February. So do you have a targeted approach with your ALC? Does your ALC have a targeted list of agents that they're already in relationship with that they intend to invite? How many do you want to attend? Because that's their real way of really checking out KW at the highest level. So this would be a no-brainer to invite every R2 to family reunion, and yet you're going to get further through your ALC and their relationships than just by marketing the event. So specifically, how are you going to utilize those relationships?
Yeah, leverage your agents that are going to family reunion to bring a guest, right? I mean, heck, if you're going to pay for the hotel room for a guest, maybe they can room together, the agent that invited them, and now your agent gets a free room, right? So or you can create some incentives if they bring a guest. Don't miss that opportunity. This is the 40-year anniversary of our company, so it's going to be a big deal. It's going to be an awesome event, and going into a shift, right? This is why Keller Williams strategically has family reunion in February. If you want to know the truth, it's because it's to kickstart people's year, right? And now we have the shift, and everybody's looking for answers. You will get people that will want to go to this event more than they would have wanted to go, let's say last year, the year before, when the market was easy. So don't miss this opportunity, because this only comes once a year and the timing's perfect. Okay. And if you're not going to be going, since it's not going to be done digitally, start thinking about what you can do to do a post-event family reunion event, later in February, so that you can bring the know to all of your agents as well as recruits, and have some sort of a post-event function or party or mastermind. So start thinking about that. So we should have an event in January, like we talked about, kickstart their production in the new year. You should be going to family reunion. Whether you are or not, you should be having a post-family reunion event.
Love it. Well, and then there's offers. Really, kind of the mindset is everybody in the MLS should be getting an offer from you right now, right, Rich?
Yeah. So, again, people are thinking about, what am I going to do differently? I need more money. I need more leads. I need more business. So if you're ever gonna shoot one over the bow and say, hey, we have an exclusive offer for you, this is the time to lead with moving, right? We talk about agents don't want to move. They're happy where they're at. So we have to entice them to want to come to an event, or entice them to want to come in for a business strategy meeting. This is actually the time you can lead with moving, because of the time of year and the beginning of a shift. So go for it. Hey, I've got an exclusive offer for you. Well, I really don't want to move. Well, hey, I can appreciate that during the last market downturn, right? That we saw in 2010 and 2011, right? 45% of the agents in many companies washed out of the business. So it's always good to have a plan B, right? To know what your options are. So, let's get together and let me just share with you, what kind of offer we can present to you, because you never know what's going to happen with this market shift, right?
Well,
So
for many of you, you've also heard about what EXP has added to their contract, some verbiage that's very unpopular. So without having to go into what EXP is doing, any brokerage that makes a change that's significant, an offer could be, with the recent changes your brokerage has made, is it time for us to connect? I have an offer I'd like to present you. That's a MOFR. So sometimes when we talk about offers, people think they're going to actually mail them an offer with all these offerings. Really, these MOFRs are conversation starters so that you could negotiate an actual offer of how you'd help someone make a move. So remember, MOFRs with an I, not an E, MOFRs are immediate response. It's a yes or a no. It creates the start of a conversation. So make sure you're using them to get to all the people that you're not connecting with now.
Yep, and I just posted in the chat, don't look at it right now. Let us finish our call here. It's not going anywhere. Is MOFR texts, okay, and MOFR dialogues that you can use to create an immediate response. So check those out, when you have time. Let me just give you an example. My market center that in Los Angeles, we sent out the MOFR on 72 sold last week, Christmas week. We got 46 responses to the text. Okay. We sent out the Team Ridge one yesterday. We're already at 26. Okay. We're sending out 201 next week. We're doing like 5 of them in 5 straight weeks, a different one. So,
can you tell us what MOFR stands for?
Yes.
Make offer for immediate response.
Yeah. So it's basically how to get somebody to go, wow, I want more information, basically. Yeah. Great question.
having a
So
couple.
check those out when you can, but those are some things that you can use right away, right now.
Well, and the point is this, if people are shopping around and looking at making changes, you're going to be so bummed out at missed opportunity for conversations that you didn't get at. So, if you're already in dialogue with someone, don't text them, pick up the phone and call them. And yet for those that you're not getting in front of, MOFR texts and those type of approaches are really effective.
So how can you deliver it? You can obviously send a text like we just showed, right? You could do a quick little video, have an exclusive offer. This is Rich, I have an exclusive offer for you. And then just say, hey, when would be a good time to connect? It's always good to have a plan B with the market shift. The last downturn, check out 45% of the agents and many brokers. I'd love to share with you what we can do for you. So you could do a video, you could do a private Facebook Messenger and do the same kind of thing. So be creative, think out of the box. Don't just send an email. Both Jessica and I would recommend not sending the actual offer. Offers need to be presented, right? So create the curiosity to get the dialogue going so they want to hear the offer, and then go ahead and present it to them.
One last thing I just want to say around offers is many of you are using cap management as an enticement to close people. And just remember, each month, these agents bring in a substantial GCI. So when you say I can cap manage you till June, it means very little to them, or I could keep you at 100% till June. That doesn't mean as much as identifying how much they bring in each month. So if someone brings in about 50,000 in GCI a month, multiply that by 6, that's an impressive number to say, I'm going to basically give you this much cash in hand to make a move now. They understand that real quick. But when we use jargon like cap management and percentages, it means very little. So again, offers are something near and dear to both of our hearts, but it's not something to send. It's something to have a conversation around.
What you can also do too, especially if you have somebody that's maybe a bubble capper and you're not really one to, the cap management thing that Jessica's talking about, you can they understand this. You can just say, hey, I'm going to give you 100% on your next 3 deals. They get that. And that's the same thing as cap management, right? And it resonates with them. So consider that too.
Yes. And, don't try to do this alone because, if you didn't get where you needed to be in 2022, doing the same thing over is not going to get you anywhere else. So this is a time where you need to expand your bandwidth so that you don't miss opportunity. So again, you really want to leverage the relationships around you purposefully now. And some of the ways to do that more purposefully would be for you to actually treat the vendors, the lunch vendors that you guys have, as E&I partners, not as vendors that are buying you lunch. They're really business partners that can help you connect with the right people and connect with people that maybe aren't and so just think of it as a B&I group versus a group of vendors that are going to bring in lunch, and treat them as such. Give them the intel you're sharing with your own agents about the market because it affects them as well. Treat them with respect around their business because most of it correlates with what you're doing. And they really can provide some of the best intel in this quickly changing market. They're the first to tell you which offices are closing and which managers being let go and which brokerage just added this $395 transaction fee and yada, yada, yada. And that's where you want to run to when you have all these disruptive changes. So again, treat them like the partners that they are.
Yeah, and this is so critical more than other years because of what Jessica just said. Think about it. You're going to have offices that are going to close. They're going to cut back, on support and staff and programs and roll people back and stop these special deals just to try to survive as a brokerage. And your affiliates are going to know what's going on, the scoops that's going on in all of those offices. So set up expectations to start the new year with your affiliates. Let them know, like she said, that we're business partners. And this is more than just bringing some bagels, to the meeting. I want to know, the intel. I want to know what companies are making changes. I want to know who's disgruntled, who's looking for a change, whether there's been a management change, any of those kind of things. And, my expectation is that you're going to bring us one referral a month for our relationship. right? Of somebody that's looking to move. I'm not asking you, to be, go out and make recruiting calls. And I'm not going to even suggest that Bob from Title is the one that gave me your name, but I want to know who the people are, and we'll go ahead and keep it anonymous. But that's my expectation for our relationship in 2023. It's okay for you to do that, right? You hold the cards. They want our business.
And they have the intel. And the value of your own broker metrics database shared with them, you have no idea how valuable that is to them. So be the partners that you need to be, just like your agents. And yet, think of who left the office as well. One of the best strategies I've heard recently was an ALC text messaged every one of the people that they knew that left and said that we want you back. And we went to bat for you with the investors, and I have an offer I'd like to present you. And it was so cool because it came from the ALC member, and they delivered it and got the conversation restarted. And then the team leader took it from there. And they have many, many agents saying, I really miss being there. I want to come back. So how can you leverage your agents to help you reconnect with those that maybe went to other places where the grass seemed greener for a time being, or they were promised something, and now is the time that they're likely to come back. So make sure you actually have that as an initiative.
May I ask a quick question? I'm sorry, but Jessica, if you had your ALC member doing that, did you give the ALC member the sponsorship if the person that left was outside that 9 months, 1 day window? Did sponsorship come into?
No, sponsorship is handled like it should be. They choose who they want. It's not pushed on anybody or promised to anyone. It naturally happens. And yet, let's just say, Gloria, I have a list of 100 agents that left KW over several years' time. And you're like, oh, I know this agent really, really well. And, Kelly knows two other people, and Rich knows. So, you kind of divide based off of who's who. And maybe it was the previous sponsor even active, but it was nothing about that. Is really just welcoming them back. And sometimes that's all people need is a welcome back, right?
Yep, and having a contest can also alleviate some of that, regardless of whether they're still sponsored in the system, invested or not. Is you can have a recruiting contest here in the first quarter where you give out prizes and stuff for appointments and leads and hires that it's irrelevant of who the sponsor is.
Yeah, absolutely. Make it not about that, but about culture of helping, right?
Yeah.
Very good. And then, there is a way to be team leader by referral. And these are all 10 ways that you can actually be team leader by referral. Now, who here wants to be team leader by referral? Let me see. Everyone awake still? Oh, yeah. Well, here's the thing is you've got to be purposeful about it. It's no different than if you look at your own market center. Think of one of those agents that just gets all the referrals. And then think of the agent that never does. You need to act like a team leader by referral if you want them. So first of all, just like I opened up today's call with the opportunity, you need to be screaming that from the rooftops to your own agents. There's going to be more movement in the MLS in the next year than we have in the last 10 likely. Take advantage. But if they don't know that opportunity exists, they're not going to think this is important to them. So focus on those that are excited by it and make sure you ask. I can tell you back when I first started as a team leader and I would have kind of crummy months, Rich would ask me if I asked anyone for a referral lately. And you know what? I'd be right back where I needed to be because yes, I got off track of asking. We don't naturally ask. So how do you make that part of your routine and create a culture of referral, or that you're by referral around it? And this all starts by thanking people for every effort they give you and also teaching them of the influence that they have. Now, when someone is first hired and brought over to your company from another company, they have star power, but it fades. So, consider putting a strategy in place to maximize that 90 days of star power. And when you're bringing agents into your company, be it a brand new agent or a very experienced agent, how are you teaching them how to refer at orientation or at sign-on? Because many of us wait for a class that they might bump into or make time for, and yet are we jumping in day one with them and teaching them how to refer properly? The truth is they think they're helping you and they're not. So if here you hire me and you don't tell me about how to refer you and how to connect with you. And Rich calls me and Maria calls me and Sarah's texting me like, what the heck? You moved to KW. And I'm out there blah, blah, blahing for him. I'm really just stealing his appointment. I really am. I'm answering all the questions they're asking me. I'm telling them what's so cool. I'm trying to give them information, but I'm saying half the stuff wrong. It's awesome. Not at all. Not awesome at all. And yet that's what the average agent does when they get to KW. They get excited and then, this happens. So do you teach day one on how to do it properly and how not to steal your appointment? Think about that one minor adjustment in your welcome to KW, your onboarding experience, your orientation experience, what that could mean to you. So again, all those things are strategies that all lead up to being team leader by referral. Have a strategy with your ALC. Don't say, who do you got for me? Have a contest or a strategy or a specific text you want them to send, or practice how they might introduce someone to you. Don't just ask for it. And again, go back to your vendors and go collaborate with them for intel. They're going to be a great source for you to really get referrals from that whole group. Your peer group of vendors is 3 times your agent count. So use it for your advantage. One good way of doing that is just teaching vendors that we have K-Score. You know how many vendors can help you promote K-Score? You know how many people they have ask about real estate and a career in real estate? And lastly, use your open houses that all of your agents are doing as a marketing opportunity for now hiring, so that you have more appointments coming in. So 10 quick ways to be team leader by referral. I'm going to double dog dare you to circle number 6. Start there, because that'll correct the future hires that you make so that you can start the year as team leader by referral. Okay, that was quickly 10 strategies, Rich.
Yep. All right. Let's go to the bonus strategy.
The bonus. Now, I got to tell you, this strategy comes from Vietnam, KW Vietnam. Their goal is to open another location. So their goal was to get 100 appointments in one day set for them. So they did a reverse bold 100, like you've heard these agents do, where they give away a Louis Vuitton purse or Super Bowl tickets. Well, Vietnam gave away Gary Keller. They said, if you help us get appointments, every time you help us set an appointment, we will put your name in the hat for a chance to have an all paid for, expense paid for trip to family reunion, and you get to meet Gary Keller. So in one day, KW Vietnam set over 100 appointments. Very simple. You just have to have a prize that's worth getting the energy and influence of your agents to work for you. So in one day, I think it was 123 appointments that they booked.
What you focus on expands, right? So, just like we do in bold, that's why it works in bold. I see, Maria, you did this and you had 90 appointments. So it's being done, and it can be done. So open up your mind when you think about, oh my gosh, I'm struggling just to get 40 in a month. You can get 100 in a day if you mobilize people and you turn it into something, an event, basically.
Gamify it. Have fun doing this, you guys, because if you're not having fun doing this, you're not doing it right. This should create great energy for all of you and all the energy around you that your team needs. So just remember, any one of these ideas executed well is $1 million team leader office. Bottom line.
So before we wrap up here, let's cover the six real quick. So let's revive your pipeline. That's slide 4. You want to go back to, there you go. Revive your pipeline, right? Was the strategy number 1 we talked about. Call all the people we met with. Mobilize your ALC and family reunion. We talked about that, right? Make offers, effective offers. Leverage your agents and your affiliates. The 10 recruiting strategies that Jessica just went through, and then the reverse bold 100. So those are the 6 strategies to really, explode into the new year. As we wrap up here, and then we're going to open it up for some questions if anyone has any questions. So we have a live 2-day event in Austin. Most of you know about it. A lot of you are registered for that. That's on the 23rd and 24th in KWRI in the big training room. So that is where we're going to be doing actual real play and role play, where we're going to be focusing on experienced agent recruiting to help you during this time when the experienced agents are going to move. We're going to be role playing the needs analysis, or we're going to be making live phone calls. We're going to be role playing the actual presentation and objection handlers and closing, as well as a lot of other strategies over a 2-day period. So that's going to be in about 3 weeks. And then in February 9th, the Rockstar Recruiting Program, the 6-month program that I teach, is going to be launching. And then in March, Jessica and I are going to be teaching our 6-week digital boot camp again, where we got unbelievable R2 results from that program. So that's what's coming up from the standpoint of support from us. Anybody have any questions before we wrap up? Anything that we can help you with? Any objections, any issues, anything you'd like to share with the group? We have a great group of over 100 people on the call.
Anything goes.
Yes. Anybody have questions?
Hey,
Yes.
Jessica. Hey, Rich. Megan West from Florida. Can we have a conversation about indies? I have my team helping me to assemble my list. I'm like, you guys just give me my list every day, because if I have it, I will pound through the calls and make it. And that's energizing and fun. If I make my own list, I'd take too long to prepare my list. So I know this about myself. But there were several NDs on there, and some of them would actually consider having a conversation about what it looks like to have access to our tools and resources. So can we just talk about like what that like might look like and what kind of value things we can send to them?
Yeah. So, and Jessica, I'll jump in. Really, there's 2 approaches I would take. One is, remember, this is going to be a multiple meetings. So, breathe, right? Take a breath and say, hey, one approach is, what I'd love to do is I'm reaching out to top quality brokers in our local community as we start the new year to get together to mastermind the opportunities and the challenges that we see in 2023. Would you like to get together for a cup of coffee? So again, baby step. Let's get together. Let's start the relationship. Another more aggressive approach would be, hey, I don't know if you've heard, but Gary Keller and Keller Williams have come out with a new program where great independent brokers like yourself can literally keep your brokerage, your independence, and tap into the resources that we have to help your agents in the shifting market. You have some time that we could get together for a cup of coffee, and I'll share that with you. So, right, just simple approaches like that to just get to first base, right? Get the ball rolling.
Yeah, I was just going to say, if you don't have, if they're an unmet where there's no relationship, there is no other way to start than to start with some relationship or a connection. This could be where one of these great vendors help you out. Like, hey, you should meet my friend, that has, now you got to remember, they all are little dysfunctional little teams. Most of them have different agreements with everybody. So you don't want to try fixing them. You don't want to try teaching them our model. You just want to get a conversation started, because their initial mindset is, dang, I'm not making much money. Why would joining Megan make any sense? So what you want to do is realize that this market has helped you in your circumstance, because that's how they felt last year when they're making lots of money. This year, they're worried about their fixed expenses, rent. They're stressed out by their agents that aren't selling anything, that are asking for leads and asking for more. They're worried about the market shift. They need to go sell real estate on their own. And they almost want to release the burden of having these agents to somebody else. So when you really diagnose kind of what's going on after a thorough needs analysis, typically you'll realize that indie just needs to go sell some real estate, and they'd like to hand off these 3 to 4 to 8 agents that are really selling anything to plug into your world, your Ignite class, your PC program, your Rise, your whatever. And so you just want them to look at it. And so I think instead of pitching it too fast, I would say, as someone I really respect, I really wish you'd look at this and tell me what you think as an independent. And I go that route probably more than I wonder if this would make sense for you, because people are usually very proud of what they've done. And yet if you go in with relationship first, you can't go wrong. And I would just bring up the objection they're thinking, like, you probably think, why in the world would it make sense for me to partner with you to make less money? And yet I'd like to show you how that works. And, if you roll that objection right into the conversation, you can typically get past that one thing that is definitely stopping them.
Yeah, and remember that one size doesn't fit all. So you just want to start the conversation, start the relationship, see what their pain points are, because they could be an MIO, they could fold into the office, they could be an independent, and that's strategy down the road. You just want to first start the conversation.
Right, and Greg, you mentioned that in the chat is, it's not about like analyzing them. It's just friendship and rapport and trust have to start first, or you're not going to get anywhere.
Same thing with all recruiting, right?
Yep.
Jamie, you have a question or your hand's raised.
Hi, how are you
Good,
guys?
Jamie. Good.
Yeah, I was just curious about the MOFR. You're saying that maybe it's a better idea to not divulge the offer. One of the things that we did start in play is we took our pond, and anyone who we would extend a cap to and give that offer, we have set it up so it goes out once a month. So we are sending that offer out, like one of the examples that was given on Facebook.
Sure.
Yeah, good. Yeah, and again, it's just preference. I mean, some people are sending it all out like you're doing, great. Whatever gets results, right?
Okay.
So yeah, there's no right or wrong.
There's no right or wrong, and if you give everything away, there's no conversation to be had. So it'd be one thing, Jamie, for someone that you and Olivia have maybe spoke to in the past to kind of rekindle that conversation. But if you've never even spoken to me, your offer's got to be really good if it's just going to be money alone that gets me. And yet that's where I would just say, Kate, that's where you guys really need to dig into what value propositions KW has, because moves are, economic based, but that's not it. If I could say, hey, Jamie, not only can I give you this deal we've been offering, but I also want to show you how to get probably another 4 to 7 listing appointments a month. Do you have time to meet this week? That's a MOFR that you can build upon, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that would be just meeting about 72 sold. So again, just be careful. If you give it all away, there's no reason to have a conversation.
Yeah, good stuff.
And if you already gave it away, give a little more, but be more curious about it.
Look at some of the stuff that was in the chat. There's a lot of great links that were posted there, depending on when you jumped on the call. Great text, great MOFRs, great things, verbiage to create urgency, all that stuff. So check that stuff out. Any other last questions?
I had one. I put it in the
Yes, go ahead.
chat. Is there any marketing materials that we can find around just the disappearing cap and just profit share to talk to our internal agents about? Where can I find that?
Well, on my KW, there's definitely profit share, a whole presentation, a PowerPoint that you can use to teach from that kind of walks you through that. So I know that on the profit share side. In terms of disappearing cap, I
haven't seen anything like an infographic at all. So Jenny, I think, you guys have a really good look with most things you make. I think it's less is more, and just make a very simple infographic, like, meet with me to learn how to make money with real estate through your retirement or something like that. I mean, you gotta just, and yet at the same time, if it's to your own agents, I don't know if you need to be that, you're not really creating clickbait. So what do you want it for? I'm just curious.
For the sales meetings, like our first sales meeting, I want to talk about profit share and the disappearing cap. And that was the approach I was going to take to get them excited about it. But I can't seem to find anything that explains the disappearing cap. So I think there's just a lack of understanding around it.
Yeah, I mean, you can customize it. You could do, it could be, hey, 4 cappers, so $2,500 a cap. It could be, so you can put a number to it. Or
I was going to say, whatever your OP has put in place is really what the agreement is. And so it might be different from location to location. So I'd reach out to Natasha.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why there's nothing out there, because it's different from market center to market center. And some market centers don't even offer that. So I would just talk to your OP and kind of figure out what you want to do there. And it's a great
Well,
way
and if you're not
off
using
the
the
cap.
cap, there's other things you can do to gamify this to create great energy. And you're great at creating energy in your market center with different and different types of things. It could be tied to family reunion, maybe a ticket to family reunion or something. And I would just talk to your OP, Natasha, and see, what they're agreeable to and work off that.
Okay.
And Jenny, definitely bring Aaron Kaufman to your market center. You really want to set a fire under them? After I brought Aaron in, I tell you, my agents are running up to me with leads. I just put a whole folder together today because I'm behind in putting them in market center command so I can put a follow-up system. So that's what my New Year's weekend's going to be. File
Very
this.
good.
Thank you, Gloria.
One of the things that I've found is that agents are instant gratification. So like Jessica, to your point, they'd be more interested in a free trip to family reunion than having a quarter of their cap disappeared that they don't recognize for a year, right? So think about, immediate responses to get your agents to refer people to you, because that's why contests are so effective.
This little $4 trophy got me more referrals as a team leader than anything. And I gave this award away it was the third Thursday of every month and it was right around profit share. So we talked about profit share, but we made a tradition of it. So when you want profit share to be a focus, what are you doing as a system to create profit share as a focus? Right? Here's the recognition, the 21st of the month. Look at, you got yours too, Gloria. That's cute. 21st of the month, we gave an infographic with recognition of who were the sponsors, so we made it the Cool Kids Club to be part of this. And yet, Jenny, I think if you just put a little energy and thought around that, you could probably come up with something killer for this year, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Let's work on it. I like
Agents
it.
love recognition.
Awesome. Yes, they sure do.
Sarah, did you had your hand up?
I did, yes. So we know Fortune's in the follow-up. And so one of the things I have my cyber recruiting doing is putting some smart plans in place. But I would love to know two things. If anyone on the call has really great smart plans that are not published, can you publish those? Because I've been going through the smart plan list and trying to just look through and gather information. And then to you, Rich and Jessica, are there ones that you guys know that work really well with just kind of nurturing, or if there's a cold lead that's coming through, what to put them on and whatnot? Because I'm really trying to get my systems in place.
Well, I have a strong opinion on this, so I'm just going to say it. Are you marketing or are you nurturing? Because those are two different things. Marketing is talking about how great things are, la, la, la. That turns most people off if they're proud of where they're at, and it kind of puts a rub. So I'd be sure to be nurturing. So let's just say, Sarah, you and I met at a women's council luncheon and I found out that you needed an assistant. I would be nurturing weekly about anything I could think of about a class, about, here's a job description. Here's what a 30, 60, 90 is. Have you ever heard about a KPA? And I would stay on you that way. That is nurture. Nurture is not a smart plan. Smart plans can automate some of the communication, and yet you got to be careful not just to be blah, 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 and we're great or we're number one or yada, 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 because you actually push people away and pull them in. So if I knew a gap, that would be the nurture. If I didn't, I would just be lead generating until I got the conversation started.
And we're doing all this in Market Center Command now, right? Because for the longest time, I didn't want to have to do it twice because I knew regular command wouldn't carry everybody over. So now I see.
I do it in both. I live in both. I think
you do live in both?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. But nothing's going to transfer over if you create it in command, right?
Oh, don't worry about it. You
MC.
can get started now. Don't worry about any of that. Just
Okay.
get going, because the communication cadence that you can do in the agent side of command is so awesome with the video emails and the text and all of that.
Right.
And yet at the same time, you can onboard so beautifully someone in the MC side. So use both. And you know what? It's great because you know what? Your your leadership team needs to know how to use it anyway to be able to help your own agents. So, just jump on and you will appreciate both sides of it.
Okay. Thank you. I was holding off on going into MC command, although this week I've been playing around. I set up smart plans. I added people, but I haven't dove into the MC side because I just didn't want to do double work. I get it.
Awesome. Anything else? Any other questions? Okay, well, we really appreciate you guys spending the last day of your year with us before the new year. So
Yes.
can't wait to see you all next year, and let's do some disruption in growth for 2023, guys.
Yeah, have a very happy and safe new year, and let's hit the ground running next week, everybody. Have a good one.
See ya.
Thank you.